All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the grand finals of tonight's Astronaut Star Circuit, powered by Beyond Entertainment. We've got the grand finals set up, like I mentioned, two common teams. I guess it's the only second Star Circuit event, but these two teams have made their way to the broadcast before, and one of them, the previous victors. As you look at the bracket here, Spacestation Gaming has once again found their way into tonight's grand finals, and tonight they're going to be going up against the Pittsburgh Knights, who have just got to be exhausted just based on the way their matches have kind of panned out and played out throughout the course of the series. If you guys were following the bracket on teambeyond.net at all, you know it's been a hard-fought couple of matches for the Pittsburgh Knights, but they have found themselves here. They have an opportunity to dethrone Space Station Gaming in the grand finals, but that, of course, is yet to be seen as we get the grand finals underway as soon as that's ready. But, of course, I'm in the booth here with Pash. And, Pash, what do you think of tonight? Any predictions going forward here?
Well, I mean, this is going to be really interesting because I mean it's a rematch from our first qualifier, and Space Station Gaming. We know the result of that one. It was pretty convincing as well. It wasn't close. It was a 4-1. So Pittsburgh, they have had a tough run up the bracket, no doubt. They've played against a lot of established teams, up-and-coming teams as well.
Yeah.
They look pretty convincing against RBG, but in the end, Space Station has, in my opinion, they've looked more convincing against Ghost than Pittsburgh looked convincing against RBG.
Yeah.
And another thing is that Space Station just loves to play a fast pace, and Pittsburgh Knights, that might play into their hands if they try to slow things down again. But I'm pretty sure that Space Station has watched that last game because there's lots at stake here. Not only the 1,500 first prize, but also those all-important Star Circuit points that will qualify you for the $10,000 final in April. So winning two qualifiers right off the bat is going to be huge for Space Station. So, yeah, I'll have to give this one to Space Station because they've proven that they can do it back in December. New year, new decade, sure, but still, I mean, they've shown that they've got what it takes.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, right? It's nothing against Pittsburgh Knights or anything like that, but just so far tonight and throughout the Star Circuit, Space Station has kind of just proven themselves. Like we mentioned earlier, they're one of the only teams tonight that hasn't made a roster change. So, yeah, going into grand finals as we get it loaded up here, I'd say it's safe to say Space Station is the favorites, but Pittsburgh Knights, of course, could prove to upset here. We'll have to see.
And last time, AyyJayy wasn't on the Pittsburgh Knights roster.
Correct.
The question is that something that'll play into their hands, or is that something that'll weaken them even further? So far, there's no indication to say that the pickup has been a bad one. He's blended in well. Again, it's the same story with Memory that I was talking about last game, where the mistakes that the Knights did make weren't individual ones, and there's nothing you can really say to, oh, all right, well, there's some team cohesion missing. I don't think that was the case. So it is a rematch, but it's not quite the same rematch.
Right.
The question is, well, how will that affect things? I mean, Space Station is on a roll here. They've had a fantastic RLCS LAN. They are a team that is destined to do great things. I've always said that, and I will continue saying it because there's a reason they didn't switch up their roster.
Right.
Because, never change a running system.
Totally.
And the system is running.
Yeah, they seem to just be, they always have that experience and that comfort and that kind of team cohesion to fall back on, whereas all the other teams tonight have sort of had a little bit of a journey discovering themselves and have had to find their footing a little bit more here.
So first minute has passed. Nothing too notable happening just yet. Both teams finding their footing on the field. Built off the backboard. Ooh, not the touch he was looking for. Opens up scoring for Arsenal. Space Station up 1.
Yeah.
Double commits.
Yeah, that might just be something that Space Station Gaming might have, that little bit of experience, a little bit of that advantage on. Arsenal finding that opening between the double commit and coming through for a relatively early goal compared to some of the other games we've seen tonight, but that'll be on the Pittsburgh Knights to respond.
Yeah, so not the best way to start off game one. Straight away, a double commit that leads to a goal. We can't really blame Reynolds for that. He wasn't in the best of positions after that double commit to try and make the backboard save. And again, it is one goal. On the other side, it is one goal, as in only one goal, and there's plenty of time left to try and turn this one around.
Yeah, especially just being game number 1 in a best of 7, so the rest of the series we'll have to see how that falls, but it is just one of those things that we kind of touched on.
That's the scoring position from AXB. Slow floater, gyro. Enough time to reposition himself for the save. Quick thinking gyro, trying to send it down the sidelines. Follows it all the way down. Escort for the ball. AXB, long range shot. AyyJayy, tried his best, but that was just a perfectly placed shot. A perfect arc on that ball's trajectory.
Yeah, just enough so that AyyJayy couldn't get to it in time. So that's 2 goals now for Space Station here in game number 1. And yeah, maybe a little bit of the repeat of the events of the last Star Circuit. The Space Station just looking strong against the Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah. The Space Station just seem like they've got the Pittsburgh Knights red. What a step by Arsenal. Sets it up off the backboard, then gets an angle. I think we've seen him do that in the first semifinal as well. Here he does it again, proving that it wasn't a fluke. And again, he had it. He was on the ball, but it just wasn't in time. So maybe Pittsburgh needs to try to switch up their rotations, be a little more proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
Space Station, it's the same story as we saw after seeing game number 1, where Ghost Gaming just put up all the pressure, and then Space Station just waited for the openings and landed precision strike after precision strike.
Yeah, and that's almost somewhat of the benefit of having that familiar roster, is that everyone kind of has to catch up to you. You know what your game plan is. You know your teammates and their tendencies, and the other teams have to adjust, and the other teams have to figure out how to attack and break your setups and what you're going for. So they have the advantage, maybe even skill-wise, but also in that regard as well.
Ooh, AXB spikes the ball. Gyro past the sidelines, plays it past one. Arsenal looking for the block. Gyro waiting until the very last moment, but he runs out of space, slams into the wall. AyyJayy bumped out of the way. Reynolds will try to pick up that ball, try to pass on to Gyro, but Arsenal read that perfectly and intercepted it. Just a minute left. 3 goals. Not looking good for Pittsburgh right now. They can at least score 1 to get that a little bit of a confidence booster going into game 2, because the odds of them winning game 1 are very slim now.
Yeah, they would need something miraculous to happen on their end to be able to catch up here. 30 seconds remaining, Space Station with the 3-goal lead, and yeah, maybe you hope for 1 little goal just as a confidence boost, just to remind yourself you can do it. You're not totally shut out, just to get a little momentum going in game number 2.
Yeah, final 10 seconds on the board, and Pittsburgh just have not found their footing at all in this game. Space Station not putting a show of extravagance on the pitch, but in the end, it doesn't really matter, because you don't need to be extravagant, you just need to be consistent, and that's something that Space Station has always excelled at, being consistent, not doing anything flashy. They're not known for being, absolutely sick in some of their plays, although obviously they do pull them out every now and then, but they're not known for flash. They're known for steady, consistent play, steady, consistent winning play, and they have once more shown that in the semifinal. They are once more showing that in the grand final so far. So Pittsburgh are going to have to find a solution to that. The problem against Space Station is, if you're up against a team that'll punish mistakes with dead-eye precision, then you really cannot afford to make any mistakes at all. And it's tough to do that, let's
Yeah.
say the least.
It's a big ask, especially, like we've brought it up before, but just to say it again, a new roster as well. So not only are you asking to reduce mistakes, but you're asking to do it with a roster that might be new to you and with some unfamiliarity there. So that just kind of creates a little bit more of a gap even between Space Station and some of their opponents tonight. So yeah, that's just sort of, all kind of adds together to accumulate into the story that we're seeing play out here tonight.
So next 5 minutes, next opportunity, everything has been reset. Will the Pittsburgh Knights find a solution to the oppressive play of Space Station Gaming? Trying a fast pass down the middle, read by Sipical. Wells keeps it up. Good touch coming in. Off the backboard, Sipical has got that covered. AyyJayy keeps it forward. No backup. One thing that Pittsburgh have to watch out for is they can't get too scared. They can't just leave. They can't just send one of their players forward and then expect them to deal with everything.
Right.
Because they're too worried about, getting long-range sniped again. And yeah, we're seeing situations in the first minute where the Pittsburgh Knights have a good position up front, but there's no backup to really make anything out of it. So you have one player outplaying the defense, getting past them, but then no one to pass the ball to, and that usually leads to a starved ball in the final third. And they don't really gain anything out of those plays. Oh, good save from AyyJayy. Almost threaded the needle there. Okay, off the ceiling. Long-range ball. Reynolds had plenty of time to prepare for that. Gets it past one. Looking for the second. Gyro keeping himself ready in the midfield. Extra height put on the ball. Gyro in the corner. They get a rebound off the backboard. Defense from Space Station comes in. And they're quick to rotate back. They are perfectly aware of the danger that Space Station Gaming poses. Whiffing on that one, leaving Arsenal with a lot more space than you would want him to have, but they do get the clear back to the blue half. AyyJayy kicking down in midfield, and then Reynolds as well. Enough time for the respawns to come in, but that absolutely killed that attack dead. Following against the backboard again. No fast follow-up, a demolition onto Sipical on the goal line. That might just be what they needed, but AyyJayy can't put it on target. Ball comes off the post, to double commit from Space Station, but they have enough time to regroup. That's a goal that you have to make right there.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what the Pittsburgh Knights have been waiting for, is an opportunity like that. They've been playing so solid up until that point. While they might have been playing maybe a little timid, being able to capitalize on those opportunities is something you just need to do if you want to go toe-to-toe with Space Station.
Solid save from Reynolds, but the danger has not passed yet. Reynolds winning the 50, sends it off into the corner a little too far though. Sipical will pick up on that ball, prompting more reinforcements to shuffle into that corner. Pittsburgh Knights now pushed back to their own half. Reynolds with a liberation strike. Gyro gets taken out. Just the one player who came along, and that forces AyyJayy to now come along as well. They're doing a good job at keeping the aggression back, but then Gyro from the sidelines, I think it was a pinch against Sipical. Absolutely it was.
Yeah.
That's just what they needed.
A great little opening for the Pittsburgh Knights there. A little bit of a confidence booster, a little bit of a momentum swing for the Pittsburgh Knights. So that's going to feel good. And now Space Station Gaming going to have to answer back. But can AyyJayy float this one by? No. Arsenal up for the save.
Reynolds looking for a pass onto Gyro, but he was just bumped by Sipical, and the ability of Space Station Gaming to read plays before they happen. Always impressive when you see it live and in action. Gyro long cross forward, no takers. Gyro doing his best at keeping the ball in the blue half of the field, just trying to keep the play alive from hell or high water. Here comes Reynolds. Angle is cut off by Arsenal. 1 minute remaining, and the Knights are in the lead. Just gotta watch out because we know how quickly Spacestation Gaming can strike. But right now, the Knights have a good hold of SSG, keeping them in their own half of the field and very quick on the rotations. As soon as they lose ball control, that does mean that they give up a lot of space up in front. But it also means that they always have at least one guy back when things get dangerous. And it's worked out very well for them. One goal, it's one shot slip past with a pinch off the side wall is all that they might need to win this game. 20 seconds remaining, and they're still on the offense right now. Arsenal through the sidelines. Clear goes straight into AXB. Riddle's going to have to clear that one, and he does. Far and wide, where no player from SSG is to be found. They try to send it back to Orange to keep the play alive, but AyyJayy just wants to get that ball as far away as possible as he can, and the Pittsburgh Knights, one goal lead is all that they needed, and they kept Space Station pretty much under control for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, that almost kind of harkens back to that semifinal number 2 against RBG Esports, where, I mean, the Pittsburgh Knights were able to play almost like that grinder style where they just kept the defense up and sort of found a goal eventually, and then were just able to hold that very small lead. So that seemed to work in game number 2 against Space Station, but Space Station Gaming having that experience kind of on their side, I'd expect them to at least be able to adjust and identify that going into game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of going back to, I don't want to call it the roots, but they are going back to what worked for them. And that's always generally a good idea to do.
Yeah.
And it worked for them here as well. There were a couple of really tense situations where SSG were inches from scoring, but all in all, the Knights have done a good job at getting those quick and precise rotations in that you need against a team that strikes as quickly and precisely as SSG. So it's going to be interesting to see whether SSG will try to adapt here a little bit and lay on a bit more pressure, because their play style of playing it slow until they play it fast. Oh, good save from Reynolds right there, coming from the inside of the net. XP cutting off that advance. Typical will have a lot of space to play with that ball, and the demolition onto the only one who was back, and that is going to be an open net. I'm not quite sure where most of Pittsburgh was. Looks like one of them was held up by getting bumped on the opposing backboard. Where's the third player? Not quite sure where. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
AyyJayy, they got hung up.
But I'm kind of surprised to see that the third man was just nowhere to be found. I mean, one of them, as I said, was held back by SSG, but getting bumped in their own backboard, which was a good play. And then AyyJayy was obviously blown up in a 2v1 situation.
Yeah, there's a couple of demos. Return fire from the Pittsburgh Knights there, but shot blocked by XB. Yeah, maybe they just weren't expecting the demo on that rotation, and the player got left out, but left the net wide open for Space Station for that early goal here.
So SSG striking early, forcing the Knights to run after them. Sword is drawn. XP playing it very slow there. We won't be able to dribble the ball past. Wide cross forward. That's not going to help anyone. Arsenal is on the ball yet again. Tries to keep it away from Reynolds. Sneaks it past Gyro. Reynolds quick on the back rotation. Now AyyJayy looking to open up another play. No boost to his name, and he's still sticking to that ball like it's glued to his car. All in all, a good effort. Here comes Gyro. Can he win the 50-50? No, he cannot. Demo onto AXB. We'll take a bit of wind out of the sails of that attack. Long range clear from Reynolds. Another demo, this time onto Gyro, and Reynolds taken out as well. Now AyyJayy has to scramble back. They cannot get the attack in time, so the respawns will be coming in. But man, that was scary there for a moment.
Yeah, just the tenacity out of those demos there. There's a shot by Sipical. Tries to put it up and nails it. Out midfield. Great stuff out of him.
Yeah, AyyJayy, unfortunate on that clear. It was generally the right thing to do. You don't want him to run off with the ball and potentially get into a position where he can land across. But unfortunately, in the end, he was the one who passed the ball over. Unfortunate there, but also well played from SSG to get their positioning straight. And now Sypical blocks a shot from Gyro that was all but in. Trying to sneak one past yet again. Gyro on the sidelines now, gets a bounce off the ramp. Gonna have to beat out Sypical. Ball's in a good spot. Whiff coming in. Here comes AyyJayy, and he scores and gets the Knights on the board. Not all is lost. They get the deficit back down to 1.
No, and I like the way Pittsburgh Knights have kind of stepped up maybe the aggression, but not necessarily the pace. Maybe that's the adjustment they needed to make earlier on, rather than trying to play faster. Just make it a little bit more aggressive. Keep up that same kind of stonewall defense that they've been able to keep up somewhat. And then just, you know, get a couple of bumps in to throw Space Station off their game.
Backboard, Arsenal looking for it. Interception by Gyro. AXP wants to keep the play alive. Sypical onto AXP on the backboard. No one there to pick up on that third pass, though, and a quick switch around play. AyyJayy to Reynolds and in. We're tied up at 2. What a counter.
Yeah, I gotta say, coming into this game number 3, with the early Space Station lead, Pittsburgh has struggled with catching up, being at a deficit. We even saw that in the second semifinal, but for some reason, they've found something that's working for them, able to catch up to Space Station now, and putting them in a position to potentially take the lead in the series.
A little bit of bad luck from Space Station again. Well, no, this time it was for Space Station. Last time it was for Pittsburgh. It was one of their own that set up the pass for the one who ultimately ended up scoring it. But it does not matter. I don't think either team will care. The situation is we are tied at 2, and it's anyone's game. And they caught up to those 2 goals fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Which is something that you want to do. Keep it level as far as you can possibly take it. Always got to watch out not to leave yourself too open. Spacestation Gaming will punish you for that. Reynolds cross map. Arsenal will. Whew, that was a lot closer than it looked.
Yeah.
AyyJayy looking for the angle. Reynolds not quite in position as a passing station. I think he tried to actually put that on target a little wide. Final minute is on the board. Gyro on the backboard, flips it forward. Arsenal is respawned, picks up on the side, on the midfield line after picking up himself some fresh boost. Oh, and a bump onto Gyro leaves Arsenal the only, leaves AyyJayy the only one left in net, but the ball doesn't come anywhere near the net. 30 seconds remaining. Right now it's Space Station trying to push and break the wall. Not quite able to. Might be on track to overtime here unless something crazy happens in the last 15 seconds. That's a good setup by Reynolds looking for the double tap. Oh my goodness! That was so close. It bounced off the lower right-hand corner. They're going to try again, and this time they're going to find it. Set up by Gyro, and Reynolds puts it away. The Knights 3 seconds to spare, and they take the lead.
Great stuff out of the Knights there. Great positioning out of Reynolds to capitalize on that. What would have been a heartbreaking miss off of that lower corner ends up staying persistent and turning into a goal for the Pittsburgh Knights. And now Space Station Gaming with no time left remaining.
Yeah, they're going to have to juggle that against the team that'll do their utmost to try and smash that ball onto the ground as fast as possible. And there it is. They didn't even have to do it. It was just a whiff from from Spacestation Gaming. And the Pittsburgh Knights take the lead in the series. And again, it was just from a 1-goal lead. Stats are incredibly even on both sides.
Yeah, I think a lot more evenly matched than I would have predicted going into this grand final, especially based on the first Star Circuit event, where Space Station Gaming was able to beat the Pittsburgh Knights 4-1 in the grand finals. And Pittsburgh Knights not only proving that wrong, getting at least 2 games up on the board in grand finals, but being ahead in the series as well, which didn't happen at all. So whatever the Pittsburgh Knights are doing, they seem to find some answers to what Space Station Gaming has been throwing at them.
Yeah, whatever happens from now on, they are already on a better result than they had last month around, because it was a 4-1, and now they're up by 1. I'm really interested to see how far they can take this, because Space Station, it's not like they were outplayed. It's just that Pittsburgh out Space Station.
Yeah, yeah.
Like both teams seem to be perfectly happy just to sit back until an opportunity arises, and both of them are very adept at striking when the iron is hot.
Yeah, I'm surprised how well just Pittsburgh has been able to adjust, because we saw that in the second semifinal. Like, they tried something, okay, it wasn't working, and they adjusted and found the victory. And now they're able to do that against Space Station Gaming as well.
Ooh. Ball slowly rolling wide on that blue goal. AXP trying to push forward now. Send off to the side. Arsenal has the ball. Spikes it. Ultimately, control will fall back to Pittsburgh. Typical in the midfield. Off of the ceiling, gets beat to him by Reddles. Sibylla might have some space to set something up here. Side of the goal. No one there to follow it up, so AyyJayy will gladly carry that ball out of his own half. But Space Station, you can see, they are really laying it on thick right now. I don't think we've seen the ball leave the orange half of the field in, you know, the entirety of the game so far. That's the first foray from AyyJayy. Oh, one whiff from Arsenal, but there were still two players from Space Station Gaming on the goal line, so no disaster being spelled out there. Double commit from Pittsburgh, but they got a long clear, buying themselves some time to re-rotate. Now Pittsburgh looking to take control here as well. The first time in a while. Space Station on the push though. Safe coming out from Reddles. Long and wide. Who will follow it up? Looks like Gyro. Carried all the way into the corner. Set something up for Reddles, but he was mid-rotation back. And that is such a typical Space Station goal.
Yeah. The setup here just from midfield. Yeah, Typical sees the opening, takes it, knows he's got it. Boom, it's in the bag. Space Station Gaming finally back up with the lead here in game number 4.
So 1-goal lead, took him 2 minutes to do it. And yet again, oh, what a dunk from Typical! That was crazy stuff. And he was battling AyyJayy on the corner there as well. He won out the positioning and then got a perfect dunk off of the clear attempt. That was a crazy play all the way through.
Pure aggression out of Typical on that one, determined to get that goal. But there's a little bit of a kickoff return. A little fire back from the Pittsburgh Knights right off the rip here. Reddles finds a little present sitting under the tree for him.
So kickoff goal from Pittsburgh, and they're gonna be happy about that one, because to make good on such a goal immediately has got to feel good. Man, that was highlight reel material right there from Typical. I'm still going on about that.
That was still insane. Yeah, I mean, just the technical skill to be able to not only take that aggression up the wall, but then reposition and get the follow-up tap for the goal was, yeah, pretty insane stuff out of him. But thankfully the Knights got a quick little kickoff goal to shore up that lead that Space Station was amassing. So kind of ball rolling in their favor here in game 4 somewhat.
So we're at halftime now, just past halftime. It's only a 1-goal deficit to the Knights. It's not too bad. Demolitions are coming out left and right now. The pace of the game has slowed down somewhat. AXP pops it up. Backboard is covered. AyyJayy won't be able to stop that shot from coming in, and then Arsenal gets his second touch. And again, a crazy goal from SSG. Arsenal with perfect reposition. No, this time it wasn't a dunk. It looked like a dunk to me. In the end, it was just good positioning from Arsenal. And Space Station have their 2-goal lead back.
Yeah, they seem to have adjusted a little bit to what the Pittsburgh Knights were throwing at him in game 2 and 3. They seem to have been able to open up whatever lid Pittsburgh Knights had sealed on them, and the floodgates starting to open here.
That was just a bit unfortunate from Reynolds there. Probably should have gone for the touch a little earlier. That ball spent a long time going up and then slowly coming back down with no one from Pittsburgh getting a touch on it and sending it off trajectory. If you give your opponent that much time, then they are going to make use of it. The save comes out from AXB. Arsenal getting blown up right after. Infield pass. Oof. Good attempt, comes off the post. Pittsburgh not looking defeated yet. I think they have what it takes. Although they haven't been able to catch up to such a deficit at all tonight. And in fact, no team has been able to catch up to such a deficit tonight. 3 goals has always been a winning margin in tonight's tournament. And what a Sippy, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Okay, sure. That just happened.
Borderline speechless off of that play right there. Just when you mentioned, like, at the top of Grand Finals, oh yeah, Space Station, not that flashy, just a really solid, fundamental squad. Sipical's gonna do something like that just to make sure, you know, he can do those too.
How do you even analyze something like that, other than saying Sipical is just a god at this game?
Yeah, that was insane.
Absolutely crazy.
A death-defying stunt out of Sipical on that one, I think, is all you got.
It's just icing on the top of the very delicious cake the Space Station have prepared themselves already. A 5-1 victory over the Pittsburgh Knights. Unless the Knights can get another goal to their names. For 20 seconds, I mean, there's no chance of winning this game anymore. Maybe Sipical wants to make another crazy play. No, it doesn't look like it. Game is going to wind down here, but yeah, man of this game, absolutely Sipical. 2 crazy goals.
Yeah. And
It's not often you get it where you get 2 Rocket Dailies worthy clips from one game.
Right.
From one game.
In one game from one player. Yeah. And not only to tie up the series, but it plays like that, I think, just speak volumes towards, like, confidence and momentum. When you're feeling comfortable enough to not only go for a play like that, but also hit it, I think you're kind of, it says a lot for feeling like you're in your groove and you found your footing. And a 5-1 victory now here in Grand Finals to tie up this best of 7 looks like things are beginning to edge back in Space Station Gaming's favor.
Yeah, but even if you leave out those 2 goals, it still would have been a 3-1 victory. And,
yeah.
The story of this game is just Space Station keeping the Pittsburgh Knights to 1 goal all game long, despite the Pittsburgh Knights' best efforts. They weren't outshot. They actually, yeah, they were outshot, but not by bad. It was just 1 goal, 1 shot difference between both teams. It's just that Space Station had a better defense and they had much more control over the pitch, and that just allows themselves to set up for crazy plays like these.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta say, the defense has been a little sloppy from the Knights in the last game.
Yeah.
Like, they had a couple of shots in that shouldn't have gone in. I mean, arguably that second goal from Sipical shouldn't have gone in.
Right. Yeah, that's just one of those. But again, who expects someone to hit a shot like that or even take a shot like that?
Well, they start things off with a save. Speaking of defense, a counter attempt in Space Station Gaming, but nothing really coming out of it. The story of Pittsburgh is just sort out your defense, be a little more careful, be a little more disciplined. Make sure you don't fall behind as badly, and then you can worry about, you know, scoring goals on your own. And it's something that they managed to do for the 2 games that they won in this series.
Yeah.
Of course, Sipical popped off, looking for another dunk here. This time, AyyJayy will prevent that from happening. But yes, I mean, it's always hard when one player in your opponent's team just starts popping off. But even then, you need to make sure that the shots you cannot save don't get outnumbered by the shots you can save but don't.
Right. Yeah, all of Pittsburgh Knights' victories really, for the most part, have been when they're able to keep it close. When things start getting away from them, when the defense falls apart, that's when they get themselves into trouble.
So minute 30 in and no goal scored yet. This does play into the Knights' hands.
Wow.
What a save from AyyJayy. Good stuff right there. That's what I'm talking about. That one falls into a category. I mean, I mentioned shots that you can save and shots that you can save but don't, and this falls into the category of shots that you shouldn't save but do.
Right. Yeah. Works both ways, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Offense and defense can have those amazing plays for sure, and yeah, we just witnessed a defensive one there.
Keeping themselves level on score. Now looking for some offense on their own, but they left their goal open, and look at the counter. That ball crossed the field in about 2 seconds. Boom, boom. Perfect pass from Typical, perfect finish from Arsenal.
Yeah.
You can't play a counter any better than that.
No, and that's just great positioning out of the experience from Spacestation Gaming. A speed play like that, how do you even recover in time? So Spacestation Gaming, as we near the halfway mark, finds themselves with 1 goal lead in game number 5 here. Pittsburgh Knights playing on the back foot yet again, making some great plays on defense, but they have to catch up to Spacestation Gaming now.
So they don't have it. They don't manage to make it to halftime on level scores, but it's only a 1 goal deficit, and that was definitely the category of shots you can save. So
yeah,
we've already made 1 good. You're not going to win games by not scoring. That's the thing. They need to start pushing forward now. Having a decent defense is all well and good. Many people will say good defense wins you games, but in the end, there's only one thing that does ultimately win you games, and that's scoring goals. Another shot coming in, coming off the crossbar. Thanks being Typical on a double commit there, giving Gyro some space to play with here. Ultimately does end up handing the ball off to Typical. Gyro pushing it forward yet again. Reddles off the side wall. Comes off of the backboard. Gyro looking to center the ball. Typical gets his hands in between that one. Won't make it easy to find that infield pass. .80 seconds left. It's only a 1 goal deficit. All that the Knights need to do is find an opening, but with the pressure from SSG rising, being driven up, that is going to get increasingly difficult. And the less time they have, oh, that's a good bump, but no one there to actually get the shot on target. If they sent 1 additional player forward, that would have been a goal, and that's what I was talking about. You can't be too scared. You need to commit more players to the front. Obviously, if you do, you're going to open up your back, and SSG are adept at surgically striking when that back is open. But still, you can't win without scoring a goal, Pittsburgh Knights. So be a little more brave. Take risks. Now is the time to do it.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, like a great defense can win games, sure, but you still have to be able to confidently transition into an offense, because if you don't give yourself enough opportunities, you know, defense can never catch up. So Pittsburgh Knights maybe a little bit slow in that transition, but I mean, the defense has been solid. They need something desperately now here as the clock winds down.
That could have been a better touch from AyyJayy right there. They did get a double commit onto the Space Station defense, but I think they committed 2 players to do that as well, and then AyyJayy, unfortunate touch, sets it straight up for Typical, and that'll end the game right then and there.
Yeah.
Again, 1 additional player forward, but they got that all-important bump in the air. That goal was open. Had they gotten a shot on it, that would have gone in. No questions asked any day of the week. It's a learning opportunity.
Totally.
When time gets tight, you need to push. You need to take risks. Obviously, if you take another goal, chances are you're going to lose. But if you don't take risks, then chances also are that you're going to lose. And the Pittsburgh Knights just waited a little too long to start taking risks.
Yeah, they were in a losing position anyways, being down the goal. So, yeah, in a situation like that, you have to commit to that offensive play to, I mean, give yourself a shot at tying it up. So, a little bit of a mistake there out of the Pittsburgh Knights, but they have been playing very solid in the series. But now Space Station Gaming able to take that 1 goal lead over them in this grand final, best of 7. So Spacestation Gaming looking solid, kind of playing more in line that game with what I expected out of them in this grand final.
Well, and just like that, Pittsburgh finds themselves backs against wall. Let's see a repeat of last month's grand final. A fantastic save from AyyJayy. It is match point for Spacestation Gaming nonetheless. You end up losing this 4-2 instead of 4-1, then yes, it's an improvement, but you still lost.
Right.
Maybe we do this again next month, and then they'll take it to Game 7.
Yeah, there you go. The incremental improvements out of the Pittsburgh Knights, perhaps, but you'd like to see a little bit more rapid improvement, for sure, out of them. They have had some good showings, and maybe this is, you know, they've had some pretty long series, too, on their end, so maybe it's even a mental endurance thing.
Fantastic block from Sypical on this. The long-range shot coming in from AXP. It won't quite be on target. AyyJayy puts it off the backboard. The game plan sort of worked for the Knights in the last game. Just keep it level for as long as you possibly can.
Right.
Focus on defense. That worked. They just didn't manage to stop focusing on defense in time. And again, it's a learning opportunity. They'll take away something from that game. What will it be? Only the rest of this game will show.
Right.
Again, they're doing a good job at not giving up too much space to SSG. Sypical in the corner versus AyyJayy. Good setup in front of the net. Arsenal gets a touch on it, and then AXP comes in, and that was such a crucial touch from Arsenal. It was well set up by himself. On his way down, he manages to snatch the ball away from a double commit, leaving an open goal for AXP.
Yeah, beautiful stuff out of Space Station Gaming there, and that's just that high-level play that I was kind of shocked I wasn't seeing earlier out of them, because I knew they had that potential. Maybe whether or not they were getting adjusted to the Knights, or maybe being in semifinal number 1, they needed to warm up a little bit again. You know, is to be determined. But plays like that, absolutely fantastic out of Space Station Gaming. Potentially closing out the series here. We'll see if the Pittsburgh Knights make that adjustment that we mentioned earlier of stop playing so defensive, and now they need the goal, so they have to get a little bit more aggressive here on the pitch.
And there was a double commit that pretty much opened up the stage for that play to be made. There's a double commit on the goal line. Double demo. They have to... Oh, okay. AXP does it for them. All right.
All right.
Okay, so they got a double demo. AXP gets the touch. AyyJayy tries to put it on target, and then AXP, I think it was on his way down. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe he's lost sight of the ball for a moment, but I'm pretty sure that would have been in either way, because a double demo while the ball is in your own final third, that's going to be a goal 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure if there's another goal out of Reynolds. Okay, so Pittsburgh Knights finds themselves with, I think both of us can agree, a surprising lead out of nowhere very quickly.
So that was AXP, and I think, I'm not sure who the second guy was. But again, like, bad luck on the side of Space Station Gaming. That pretty much gave up 2 goals straight. I mean, we can make a case for the first one definitely being an own goal and having to be avoided, but the second one was just pinball.
Yeah, second one was a bit wild, a bit chaotic. It just happened, but I guess Pittsburgh Knights, you just kind of put your head down and roll with it. Thank your lucky stars that worked out the way it did. And now you have an opportunity to force a Game 7 here.
I mean, you never look a gift horse in the mouth. Yes, it's maybe 2 goals. I mean, the first one would have been a goal anyway, so I don't really count that one because, yeah, they demoed two players on their own in their own final third. So if you don't score that one, then I mean, But the second one was definitely served to them on a silver platter, and they're gonna take that.
Space Station Gaming kind of prove their worth in game number 6 here. See if they could not only tie it up, but gain the lead in the final minute 30 seconds here in game 6.
Oh, AyyJayy puts it forward. AyyJayy with an opportunity here. Double commit Reynolds with a follow-up shot, and there's the save from Sypical. Who else but Sypical?
Typical, the absolute playmaker in this grand final series for sure. Putting on a fantastic show tonight. We'll see if they can transition this into offense.
Demo onto AyyJayy. XP misses the ball. Doesn't give enough time to respawn. See Reynolds push the advantage here. Clash with Arsenal for the ball. It comes down in front of the net. Typical trying to balance it. Gets it up and above. Now Reynolds. It on Arsenal on the backboard. Shot coming in from AyyJayy, and Sipical with yet another save. Keeping Space Station in this game. Keeping the deficit at just 1. 40 seconds remaining. This could go either way still. Pittsburgh are up by 1. But when Space Station wants to turn it up, they can turn it up. Absolutely. We see Sipical all the way in the front. Catches out 2 defenders. Reynolds is the last one who gets the save on the goal line. Crazy defense coming in from Pittsburgh. That should have been in. But Reynolds says no. Over my dead car.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. AXB starts another push. Sipical doesn't get his hands on the ball. Ball bounces off the sidewall. With coming in from AyyJayy. Arsenal pushes it forward into the corner now. Can they keep it up for long enough? Sipical off the backboard. There comes Arsenal, and the ball hits the ground, and we're going to game 7.
I am absolutely shocked. I thought for sure Space Station Gaming had it in the bag. They looked so solid in game number 5. They were up early in game number 6. The Pittsburgh Knights somehow find themselves forcing a game 7 with a new member against a team who took them 4 games to 1 in the previous event's grand final. So what might have just been an incremental improvement for them has somehow turned into a potential chance at victory.
Man, oh man. I mean, technically both of these goals that Pittsburgh Knights scored were own goals. I don't count the first one because it takes a lot of. I mean, it would take a lot of bad luck, let's call it that, to not score after a double demo.
Right.
But the second one, absolutely, that was just pure luck on the side of Pittsburgh Knights, and it does take them into game 7. So they're going to take that. They're going to run with it. They have the chance now to win the rematch, to get those points, those all important Star Circuit points, because you want to play for 10K in April.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good, I think, to anyone, and be interesting stuff here to see if the Pittsburgh Knights can make a turnaround like that and do it. We'll just double check going into game 7, make sure, you know, the lobby's good, that everything's all set up and good to go. If we have to remake the lobby, we will. It looks like we might need to. I'll wait for official confirmation there, but we want to make sure that you guys can see the game 7.
Well, right now it's a bit of a thunderstorm on the field. They're managing to keep that 5-minute timer from starting. But anyway, yeah, game 7. I don't think that's the way the Pittsburgh Knights expected it to go.
No.
That's not the way they expected to take it into game 7. But either way, you know, you're there now, and now it's a one game match. All you need to do is win.
Yeah, just close it out. I mean, you know, whether or not it was lucky to get here, you're here now, and you have the opportunity. So, yeah, like this, a win's a win, right? It doesn't matter how pretty or how ugly it took to get here, but now you have the opportunity, and we'll see what they're made of.
So game 7, all deciding. 1-game shootout between the Pittsburgh Knights and Space Station Gaming. Who will take home the $1,500? Who will take home the Astronaut Star Circuit points? We're about to find out. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, plus a potential overtime, stand between us and a champion. Whether it's going to be a new champion, who knows?
I mean, if Lady Luck is anything after that game number 6, I would bet on the Pittsburgh Knights, but Space Station Gaming definitely has the experience and the know-how. So I'd say it's really anyone's game 7.
Pushing forward now in the corner. Arsenal. Pushes it forward straight into Reddle, sends it back to the midfield line. Tag out for Sipical. Pops it up, no boots left. Off the backboard, AXP comes in, can't put it on target. Now Reddles with a chance to send it down Main Street. Gyro is ready, and there he goes. He fakes out the defender and scores first for the Pittsburgh Knights. And it was all off of the missed opportunity for Spacestation Gaming. Arsenal just a little too late on the buzzer there.
Beautiful stuff from the Pittsburgh Knights, proving it doesn't have to be just luck. A skilled little fake out there sends them onto the board first. Game 7 of your Astronauts Star Circuit Grand Finals. Reddle's going to go back-to-back AXP, thankfully, save.
AyyJayy pops it up. Reddle's waiting in the corner. Sends it down midfield. Blue corner now. Interception coming in from AyyJayy. Wins ball control back. Reynolds spiking the ball on the blue half of the pitch. And that just opens up a lane for AXP. AyyJayy pushing on through. Sipical quick enough on the rotation to get the save there. Reynolds intercepts the pass that was meant for AyyJayy. And Arsenal wins the 50-50 against Gyro. Block coming in. Demolition onto AyyJayy. Sipical with the save. From an opportunistic shot from Reynolds. Arsenal trying to run it down Main Street. Off the side wall. AXP doesn't get the touch. A whiff coming in from Pittsburgh as well, but Gyro was the last man remaining on the goal line and was able to save that one. Sarah sending it wide on his own goal. Pass over to Sipical, and that's going to find the mark for ties 6 seconds after halftime.
There's Sipical showing up in a big way here in Game 7. He had some flashy plays earlier in Game 4, but hey man, goals when it counts for Spacestation Gaming have tied it up here just under the halfway mark, and now they're poised to potentially take the lead.
Ooh, look at Sipical. AyyJayy coming in at the last moment, yeah. That was a bit of a slow play, but it did manage to draw 2 defenders off of their post, and then Reddle! Oh, what a touch! It was the tiniest of touches right there, but it was enough to completely throw off the defenders.
Just enough to get that angle out of Reddles, and Reddles, who's been, I feel like, somewhat quiet maybe, or at least not flashy in all of the previous games tonight, has now shown up in a big way in Game 7 with 2 goals on the board for the Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, that was a connection of few atoms, but AXP will float it just underneath the crossbar to tie the game right back up, and that was due to a bit of a whiff from, I think it was AyyJayy, who wasn't able to spoon that ball, to scoop that ball out of the goal in time.
Yeah, just a touch late on his positioning there. Yeah, puts him out of position for that save. Now 2 minutes remaining. Tied up at 2-2. Game 7 again, still anyone's game between Spacestation Gaming and the Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, waiting until the last possible game to pull out the tightest match we've seen so far in the series. Oh boy! That could have gone very badly right there for Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, just one little tilt a different way, and that's a different story.
With a bump onto Arsenal there on the goal line. Quick counter opportunity for Spacestation Gaming. Good touch on the backboard, and they defused the situation. Now another infield pass. Arsenal is ready. A save coming out from AyyJayy. Not going to go down that easily. Here comes Sipical. What has he in store for us? Nothing this time around. Off the crossbar. Well defended by Pittsburgh Knights. They've learned that when Sipical has the ball, you definitely need to close him the heck down.
Yeah.
Final minute on the board. Still tied at 2. Any goal at this point in the game could be the winner. It's been a relatively low-scoring series, all things considered. Playing it out, Arsenal. Oh, is that on target? Yes, it is, but Gyro's on the goal line. 30 seconds remaining, and here come the Knights. Full attack. Arsenal keeping his cool on the goal line. Now counter opportunity for Spacestation Gaming. Who will score that all-deciding goal? Will we see it scored outside of overtime? 15 seconds. Sypical again gets closed down immediately. Arsenal pushes it forward. Gyro straight onto AXB, but Gyro gets the second block on it as well. Now AXB waiting for someone to set that play up for. Sypical sends it up to the backboard. Important touch by Reynolds. Ball is high up in the air. Will anyone be able to get to it? No. Overtime in Game 7. One goal to decide it all. Who will leave the field victorious? Who will be our Star Circuit champion for the next few weeks? Arsenal sends it out. Dangerous situation in front of the SSG goal. Oh, double demo! And that's gonna be it! Arsenal takes down everyone and opens up the path for Sypical. It took them a much longer this time around, all the way to Game 7 overtime, but Space Station Gaming are your reigning champions of Astronauts. Second victory in a row. Pittsburgh Knights almost took it off of them. They took them all the way. But in the end, it was not enough. Arsenal coming in like a bomb.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of payback for that double demo that ended up being the tying goal that led to that chaotic victory in Game 6 for the Pittsburgh Knights. So a little bit of a poetic way to end it for Space Station Gaming there. But of course, congratulations to them. They are tonight's champion. They are the back-to-back champions in these Star Circuit events. They're going to be walking away with that $1,500 and all the points going forward here in the Star Circuit. But like you mentioned, a great showing out of the Pittsburgh Knights, a big improvement over event number 1, taking it all the way to a Game 7 in the very end. Just the Star Circuit continues to provide some amazing matches for all of us Rocket League fans here. But man, a great last series. Pash, any kind of closing statements on that last game that we just witnessed?
Memory on RBG seems like a pretty good idea. AyyJayy on Pittsburgh Knights seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Judgment is still out for First Killer on Ghost. I mean, yes, he is the prodigy of Rocket League, the next wonder kid,
Right.
the North American scrub killer, so to speak. And he has shown in the past that he can bring it. Absolutely. But tonight, maybe it was a little bit too much pressure. Again, it was the first time that he played under a professional contract. It was the first time he played under the flag of a professional team. Maybe the pressure got to him. Ghost Gaming definitely expected a bit of a better showing from them tonight, but ultimately, for a first time, it wasn't too bad. I mean, obviously there were cohesion issues. There was a lot of miscommunication on that team, but with a roster change that's only been announced so recently, it was just a few days ago.
Right.
That is about as good as you can expect at this juncture. Still a bit of time until the RLCS season starts. So they have plenty of time to iron these things out. I still think that First Killer has all the potential in the world. And yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind that AyyJayy and Memory are experienced, well-versed players. They are used to playing under pressure, so it's no big surprise that they work out better in their first competitive showing for their new teams.
Yeah, totally. I think very well put. But I think the big takeaway, at least for me, is that all these teams look very solid. I think all of them have exciting futures that, as they kind of get together and cope a little bit more and kind of adjust. Yeah, it'll be exciting to look forward to looking into the future of the Star Circuit. And speaking of the future of the Star Circuit, as you see on your screen right now, qualifier number 3 is going to be January 27th, 7 p.m. EST, the starting. And again, same pricing, and all those points going to be available going forward as well. So that's something for you guys to look forward to in the future. The next event coming up again, that's going to be January 27th, 2020, inching up on that new decade. But I think that's going to kind of do it for tonight. Before I give kind of the closing statements and plugs, Pash, it's been a pleasure casting with you again. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you and find out more about you?
You can find me on Twitter at @itsthepash, and you can find my YouTube link on that Twitter as well. There's going to be some content coming out if you like crazy casting. I don't know if you've watched some of the Day 9 dailies where he's picked suggestions on how to make a cast completely crazy. I'm kind of going to be doing something like that.
Doing a little
yeah, let these suggestions come, and yeah, look forward to some content.
Awesome. Sounds great. Hashtag content. You can find that coming soon from a Pash near you. But yeah, wrapping it up, I guess that's going to be doing it. Our first event of 2020 is in the books for Rocket League. But guys, thank you again for tuning in, and be sure to follow us at Team Beyond Net on Twitter. You can sign up for that next Star Circuit qualifier, and also our website, teambeyond.net, is where you can find like tournament standings, brackets, all of those sort of things. So standing updates as well, because that is something, you know, to look forward to in the future. Probably the best source of up-to-date standings. I know we posted kind of today's standings going into tonight's seedings. That was also on our Twitter as well. Again, that's at Team Beyond Net. So be sure to give that a follow, you guys. But until next time, again, that's going to be January 27th. We'll see you until then. Peace.